Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and this is a Steuben Senior Services Fund section of the program. That's a mouthful. We've got Griffin Bates, the new Steuben County historian, in the studio today. Good morning, Griffin.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for being on the show. You are relatively new as a Steuben County historian.
I am, yes. I started in January of this year.
Okay, and so that means when you started, it's right around the very beginning of the Hall of Fame process, correct?
It is, yes, that's correct.
So how did it go this year?
Very well. We had 4 candidates that were inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was Charles Alsheimer. He was a prolific nature writer and author. We had Helen Brink, who I do know personally, but I will admit I did not taint the pool at all. She is a wonderful lady. She helped with promoting a lot of history in Steuben County. She's responsible for a lot of the stuff that I have in my collection and the Historical Society as well. There's Dr. Walker, who was a very prolific medicinal doctor who practiced a lot of interesting medicines in the 1800s, one of them being fat removal surgery, which you could call liposuction now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then we also had Otto Marshall. He was a major general. He was a founding, or at least a pioneer of Wheeler, New York, and he helped create the Steuben County Fair, or the Agricultural Society. So,
perfect timing for this then. Coming right up, around the corner. Who nominates the people? I know there's more than just the 4, I'm sure, that end up getting it. Who does the nomination, especially for somebody that's maybe passed quite some time ago?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always say, really, anyone is allowed to nominate a person. There is no filtration system or no specific needs for or requirements for a nomination. If you feel that there's someone from history or someone who is still living that you feel deems to be into the Steuben County Hall of Fame, then you are welcome to send nomination forms. My forms are on my website, at the county government website.
And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But how would you, I know this is only your first time, so I can't say typically, but how many nominations do you expect when you first start the process?
Mainly, it's been only 3, or it's been that's for the selection process. But for the nominations, it could be a range of 10, sometimes 15. We've had sometimes large amounts. So it depends. It does put some work on me and the nomination committee.
So you try to narrow it down to 3 or 4 in this case.
Yes.
4. Yep. Now, if someone's interested in nominating someone, the best place to go is then the website?
Yes, that's where my form is. I am going to update it soon. There are a couple things that just need to be updated, but the form will be on the website there.
Now, what goes into, because I'm sure you're part of the committee, what goes into the selection process? You just read up on the history of each individual and at the end vote for it? Or
yes, it's no matter how many nominations we receive, we look at each one, and there's a committee of about 5 from Steuben County who have a vested interest in really promoting the Steuben County Hall of Fame. And then through a couple meetings, we vote on who we think really deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Once that is done, then we send it to the county government to get it approved.
Yeah, the legislature actually votes on this, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Have you ever had any pushback? Oh, you've only been 1 year.
Only 1 year, but in the past, I've heard that there's really never been any pushback. It's always just been very good support from the county legislature.
Yeah, because you figure you have the committee who are quote unquote the experts. If you guys like them, all right, that's interesting. Is there a physical location where people can visit the hall?
There is at the main Steuben County government building. It's on the 2nd floor. If you come off the stairway, you hang a right and you'll see the hallway where there's all the Hall of Fame nominees. And
pictures of them, and does it give it a little history or just
some do. The interesting thing about the Hall of Fame is that there are some biographies that are shorter, some are longer, so you will get a varied approach to how the Hall of Fame was approached. Mine is more, I'm going to put a lot of information for each inductee.
And I will say, as someone, because years ago I nominated Dwayne Eddy, as people know, we've talked to the mayor about it and all that. It's an easy process. So if you're thinking of nominating someone, just put together, and you have the directions. I put together a little packet, send it in, and it's as simple as that. And then you wait, though. Then you have to wait patiently.
Yes. Yes.
Can people start sending in now, or should they wait? There's an official opening date, right?
In the past, precedent has been that in beginning of January, that's when officially it begins. I am not going to be too picky. If you do happen to send it in, I'll just put it in a file for 2025, and it's no big deal. It will be put into the whole pool for next year's committee.
Okay, and if anybody's wondering, Acom spelled A-C-O-M as in Mary B as in boy. If they want to know me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, so let me ask, how does someone get interested or make it their goal to become a historian? Like in your case?
That's a good question. It all started when I was a child. Both my parents introduced me to museums, which is why I'm wearing a museum nerd shirt.
Of course.
They really introduced me to history, and my father was a global history teacher at Bath,
So it's
and
natural.
I had him as a teacher, so it kind of has been cemented in my body as a love of history. And then in around age 12, I started working in museums at the Curtis Museum, and then now I'm working at, not only do I work here at the historian's office, but I'm also working at the Corning Museum of Glass as a museum guide.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm also working at the Historical Society, my neighbors,
Yeah.
across the hall from my office.
Wow. So you're busy. Now, do you find as a historian that even in your free time, a lot of your free time is spent looking at history and going to museums and things like that?
Yes. There's rarely a time where I'm either not thinking about history or I'm not looking at history.
Yeah. You're just always curious.
Yes.
That's interesting. So this being the Steuben County historian, you're from Steuben County originally?
Yeah, from
So
Bath.
was this one of your, I don't want to use the term dream job, but was this something you were always aiming for?
Oh, yes. I remember when I was a young kid, when I knew I was going into history, I said one day I want to become a historian, and well, I guess my dreams have come true.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yes. Yeah.
It has been going smooth so far, though,
Yes.
of course.
Yeah.
What's your, maybe I shouldn't ask this way, but what's your favorite part of your job on a day-to-day basis?
My favorite part of the job is honestly working with the members of the public.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've done some research on a family member or genealogy or anything particular to just what they're curious about, and the stuff that I find for them, it brightens their day, and sometimes it even makes, I do say sometimes it does get them a little emotional to
Of course.
hear about their family. Some of them have never known about who their descendant or ancestors were, and so this is their one chance to peer into their family history.
That's a really good point. Are there areas that you specifically like to explore, whether it's in your free time or just when you're at the office daily?
There are some things that it's like kind of the staples that I know that my office has done before. Genealogy, that's one thing I always focus on. And some local history. Some particular things and curiosities that I focus on are like patents, inventions from Steuben County.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
surprising what you can find, obviously, on the internet, what you can find with weird inventions, and even like the electric chair being invented in South Corning.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is there a hub for this information? I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm going to show
Sure.
my ignorance here. So if I want to learn more about Steuben County, how do I go about doing that?
There are two easy ways. One, you can reach out to me. My office is particularly for people history, as I like to call it.
Okay.
I focus on genealogy, family files, obituaries,
Sure.
More archival stuff. If you want more of like a museum approach, the Steuben County Historical Society, my neighbors across the hall from me, they have a larger collection of stuff. So if you go to my office, you will also be at the Historical Society's office. as
Oh,
well.
interesting. Do you find that people, and is it encouraged for people to donate historic items?
It is, yeah. We always are looking for items. I only just emphasize keep it Steuben County. We do get sometimes archives that are given to us, and it's all given in good faith. But it's something that doesn't fit either of our missions
Sure.
offices.
Yeah, and I'm sure sometimes it can be overwhelming.
It can be, yes.
Things can be big size,
Yep.
little, lots of paperwork, etc. So it's probably a blessing and a curse. You get all this stuff in, and then it's, wow, this just added a lot more to my job, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep.
interesting. Now, since you're new at this, everybody gets a new job, and not new at being a historian, but new at this specific job, and you get a new job and you want to maybe change things up or look at things differently. Do you have goals that you're looking towards?
I do. I do want to expand my office to be more than just an archive. I want it to be a dynamic part of Steuben County. One of the things that my office is really focused on, which was started by my predecessor, Emily Sims.
She did a great job.
Is the Steuben County Awareness, or History Awareness, excuse me.
Yeah.
And that is a collaboration of all of the local historical societies, museums, and town historians that come together, and they want to promote Steuben County history.
Yeah.
So that's one area where I'm really trying to be involved in the community in a very big way.
Yeah. I've also got to say, and it just popped in my head, but I've got to mention this. If you are a resident of Steuben County, the newsletter is fantastic.
Oh, yes, the Steuben Echoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never thought I'd look forward to something like that. And every time I get it, I'll write from cover to cover, and it's pretty thick. I think it's very, very impressive.
It is. We're actually on the 50th year of producing the Steuben Echo, so it's a big milestone for the Historical Society and Steuben County history. Just a weird anecdote. For some reason, we have lost #1 of our
What's the
Echoes
chances?
newsletter. I know.
The historians lose the most historic issue.
I know.
That's
Somewhere.
You should put a wanted
I know.
ad in the
Yes.
back. Will you? And I don't know the answer to this either. Will you be at the Steuben County Fair?
Yes, I'll be working on behalf of the Historical Society, not as the county historian, but
right.
since I can't ignore my position, I sometimes will share both roles in the same capacity.
Of course. Now, what do you have coming up that maybe people should be made aware of? I mentioned the Echoes. Subscribe to that, but what else do you have coming?
So there is actually coming up on October 19th and 20th, there will be a Steuben County History Trail weekend.
Oh, wow.
And that's going to be a big celebration. It's our big year. In the past, it's part of the History Awareness group, which I alluded to before.
Yeah.
In the past, they did exhibits, like museum-style exhibits. This year, we wanted to do something completely different, and we're actually going to try to encourage members of the public to actually go through Steuben County and visit as many historical sites, historical societies, museums as they can possibly fit within at least 2-day weekend, but it doesn't stop there. The maps, we are producing maps, so they're free for everyone, courtesy of Corning Foundation, and they... Despite the fact that there's going to be the weekend, you are welcome to just use the map and explore all Steuben County at any time that you feel you want to try a new location that you never knew of.
So almost like, for lack of a better word, a scavenger hunt. You can do this at your own pace. So there's not like we're all meeting at this location at 9 a.m.
No.
Oh, that's a great idea. Where can someone get the map?
Well, they are in printing at the moment.
Okay.
But once they are printed and ready to be distributed, we are going to be distributing to some of the locality public spaces like a library or a government building. I will be promoting that on my Facebook page, and I'll be sharing. There's actually a Steuben County History Awareness group Facebook page, a separate page. You can go to that website or to the Facebook page, and that's where we'll be promoting where exactly they can be found and just taken for use.
And what I like about that is, like you said, it doesn't just have to be the weekend.
No.
Grab that map and just have fun and chip away, because I'm sure we'll all be surprised at how many stops will be on the trail.
I was even surprised by how many, and there are some that I never knew actually were around, and this is the first time that some of these smaller organizations have had a real chance to actually get some just deserved attention.
Of course. Well, Griffin, thanks so much for doing the show this morning, and keep us updated on any future events, and remind us, I know you always do, when it's time for people to nominate for the Hall, and best of luck at your somewhat new job.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.